Hello guys, I'm Shoresh Gupta and I'm back with another video on my channel Let's Maths. From today's lecture onwards, we will be discussing about sets. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about introduction to sets, what is a set, its definition, then we will be moving on to the representation of sets, and then we will be ending this lecture with the types of sets. In my next lecture, I will be talking about operations on sets, Venn diagrams, power sets, properties of power sets. And our main motive of this series of lecture is giving a detailed analysis of relations and functions. I'm making this video on respect of a very dear friend of mine, one of my classmates. And in this series of video, I want to make all the viewers of mine to understand what we mean by relation and functions. This chapter is a very favorite chapter of mine, and sets are basically very basic if you move on with mathematics, and it is very useful, it is very important. So without wasting any further time, let's start the lecture. I have the name of the lecture already written here is as sets. And the term sets is familiar to many of the viewers because we have been studying sets from class 8, I think. What is a set? So I can define set by telling that set is a well-defined collection of data. Achha, what do I mean by well-defined? Say for example, I say that I have a collection of all the handsome boys in a school. Now, how can I tell a boy is handsome? Say I have a boy A. He seems to be handsome for me. Maybe I feel that he is handsome. But it is not mandatory for some another viewer, say a person B, for whom he is handsome too. It is psychology based. One can feel him to be handsome, another can't. So I can never form a collection of all handsome boys in a school because it is not a well defined collection. It is not constant. The property of all the elements of that collection is not constant for each and every viewer. But if I say the collection of all boys in a school, then a person who is a boy, according to me, is also a boy according to any other view. So by looking at a data or looking at a person rather, I can easily verify whether that person belongs to this collection or not. This is what well-defined means. Well-defined collection of data means that by viewing an element, I can easily recognize whether that element belongs to this set or not. For example, we have sets of all natural numbers. What do the set of all natural numbers look like? 1, 2, 3, and it goes on 4, 5, 6, 7 and moves on to infinity. There are infinite number of natural numbers. Now if I give you a number 64, I can easily tell whether this number belongs to this set or not. Right? This is what well defined means. So a set is not an ordinary collection of data but a well defined collection of data. The members of a set are called elements of that set. Okay. Now, what are the different types of representation of sets which students usually find in their papers or in their books? One is a statement form, which I will be rather telling you orally. What is statement form? Like I just said, the set of all natural numbers. This is representation of the set containing all natural numbers in statement form. Now if I want to represent this set of natural numbers in roster form or tabular form, then this is the representation which I just showed. By tabulating all the members or some of the members which are contained in that particular set. This is called roster form. And what is set builder form? In a set builder form of representation of a set, we declare a variable, any variable, say x, such that X represents each and every member of that set. Say I have a set S. Generally, the set containing all natural numbers is denoted by N. Now S is also a set which contains all natural numbers. I can represent S with the help of a variable X is to X belongs to N. By this statement I mean that all the variables in S is being represented by X, and what is X? X represents all the numbers which is belonging to the set containing all natural numbers. So basically I am indicating towards a set which contains all natural numbers. This is set builder form, this is roster form, and the set containing all natural numbers, this is statement form. Now what are the different types of sets? They are very important. What are the different types of sets? So let us discuss that first. First we come with empty set or null set or void set. I will also be discussing cardinality here itself, some basics of cardinality. Okay. Say I have a set containing all imaginary numbers whose squares are not equal to -1. Now I know. Now basically this is not an accurate example of a empty set. Let me get a better example. Say the set of all negative numbers greater than 0. This is a better example. The set of all negative numbers greater than 0. Is there any element which is negative but greater than 0? No. There is no such element which is greater than 0 still being negative. Hence the set containing all negative elements greater than 0 is an empty set. Cardinality of this set is 0. What is the cardinality, or what is the cardinal number of a set? Cardinal number of a set is the total number of elements which are there in a set. Say S is a set which contains 1, 2 and 3. So n of S, that is cardinality of S, is 3. Okay, very basic. Okay. So this is empty or null set or void set. Got it? Okay. Next thing you have singleton set. What is a singleton set? A singleton set is a set containing only one element or whose cardinality is 1. Let me take an example. The set containing all the boys having the maximum height in school. Now I can say that no two boys should have a maximum height. See, basically if two boys are having a greater height and both of them having equal height but still they have greater height, we can say that both are having maximum height. But this is basically an exceptional example. Basically you can think it in this way, that there is only one boy who has a maximum height in school. So this set contains only that one single boy. You can make your own examples rather, right? A singleton set is a set containing only one element. Okay. Next you have finite and infinite set. Okay, finite and infinite set. What is finite set and what is infinite set? A set containing a finite number of elements or whose cardinality is a finite number. which can be represented easily with a natural number n, okay, whose cardinality is a finite number. Say for example, all natural numbers less than 3. What are the elements in there? 1 and 2. What is the cardinality? 2. So this is a finite set. A finite set can also have a cardinality of 0, which is a null set. But if I say the set containing all natural numbers, which was the first example I showed you, that set has an infinite number of elements. What is the reason behind that? Because we have infinite number of natural numbers. The cardinality is infinity or infinitely large, uncountable. There are innumerous numbers of natural numbers, right? Hence, this set is called an infinite set. Set containing all real numbers is also an infinite set. Set containing all integers is also an infinite set. Okay? Next example, next type of set is equivalent sets. Equivalent sets. These, I have written here sets because this is a sort of relation between two sets. If the cardinality of two sets or the cardinal number of two sets are same, then the sets are called equivalent sets. Say S equals 1, 2, 3 and P equals 1, 2, 4. They are having the same number of elements. These two sets are called equivalent sets. Okay? Now, what are equal sets? What are equal sets? Equal sets are two sets having same elements. Having same elements. If P would also have a 3 here, then S and P are equal sets. Or if P would be, okay, then what are the elements of P? The elements of P are natural numbers and less than equals to 3. So they are same as that of S. Hence S is equal to P. All equal sets are equivalent, but all equivalent sets are not equal. Okay. Next we have subsets and supersets. This is very important because questions from subsets and supersets are included in all sorts of competitive exams. They are very conceptual. Let us find out subsets and supersets. Subsets and supersets. If we have two sets A and B, if all the elements of A are also included in B, then A is said to be a subset of B and B is said to be a superset of A. Say A is 1, 2, 3 and B is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All the elements of A are there in B, right? Hence, A is said to be a subset of B and B is said to be a superset of A. From here we get one more term which is proper subset. What is a proper subset? This is an example of a proper subset condition. How? A proper subset pair means that A is said to be a proper subset of B if all the elements of A are included in B, but there is at least one element in B which is not there in A or which is different from that of A. For example, you can see here only. See, B has all the elements of A and there is one more element is not there in A, right? You have one more element which is not there in A. Hence, here A is a proper subset of B. One more thing, the cardinality of A, if is represented by N, if the cardinality of A is represented by N, then the total number of proper subsets of A is given by 2 to the power N minus 1. The total number of proper subsets of A is given by 2 to the power N minus 1. Okay. Next we have comparability of sets. Comparability of sets. Comparability of sets. Two sets A and B are said to be comparable if either A is a subset of B, or B is a subset of A, or A is equals to B. Two sets, I am writing it down, two sets are comparable if either A is a subset of B, or B is a subset of A, or A equals to B. We give this sign also. Proper subset is this sign and normal subset is this sign. In the next lecture, I will give you certain differences, very basic examples of how to know whether A is a subset of B or A is a proper subset of B. Today, let's just brush the basics, okay? From next lecture onwards, we will move into the advanced parts of sets. Operations, Venn diagrams, proper subset conditions, properties of proper subsets. In that particular lecture, I will also show you when A can be called a simple or a normal subset of B, and when it should be called a proper subset of B. Okay? Okay, let's see. So this is compatibility. Now what is a universal set? What is an universal set? Say you have three sets. A is a set, B is a set, C is a set. If you have one more set such that this set contains all the elements of set A, set B and set C, then this particular set is called the universal set. Okay? One more thing I want to make it sure. Elements of a set does not include repetition of elements. Okay? If set A will not contain repeated elements, this sort of a thing will simply be written like this. Okay? Sets do not have repetition of elements. The last thing, I will be just giving you an introduction, that is what is a power set. Power set is also a very important, a very conceptual part. Let's just discuss its definition. A power set is a set which contains all the subsets of a particular set. Say you have A is 1, 2 and 3. Then its power set will have elements null. This is included in all power sets. Null element. Null. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 2, 3. 3, 1. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. These are all the elements of the power set of A. Now one more thing we can conclude from this thing. Let us find what are the number of elements of P. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I can also say that cardinality of P is 2 to the power cardinality of P. Okay. This can be proved from others also. If I would have this, then P would have been null 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to the power 2. Got it? So this was just an introduction to sets. I will move on to, as I just told, I will have a series of lectures for 5 days now. So keep enjoying mathematics and keep supporting my channel. I will have my Instagram profile link given in the description box below. Do follow for latest updates on my channel. You can also follow my friend for very great VFX edits and thumbnails. So thank you guys. Thank you all.